Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Movie Mates video. I am Matthew, joined by my wonderful co-host and best friend.
Callum.
Hey man, great to see you. Sorry, I'm gosh, okay. Regardless, Callum.
No. Let's be honest. I wish that we did release the Zoom calls of this because, sometimes I look like shit, but in this one, I actually look alright.
You look good.
We might release the video of this. We'll talk. But I threw the deuce.
You look great. Honestly, I love the haircut and I love that T-shirt, man.
Thank you, sir. It's the person who bought me has style.
Who bought you?
You.
Did I?
Yes. It was my birthday present from you.
This year or last year?
This year.
No.
Matthew, we've got this off to a much more awkward start than I expected, honestly.
Okay, regardless.
Come on, Matthew, that was such an obvious lead-in. What did you expect? He wasn't going to be like, my third uncle? Obviously, Matthew.
No, I genuinely forgot. Anyway, yes, so welcome back to the Movie Mates video viewers. And as you can hear, we've got a third voice in the room, haven't we, Callum?
I mean, it's going to be hilarious if we do release the video of this and you're looking around the place, where? Yes. This is a big milestone for the Movie Mates channel. Soon to be renamed, hopefully, because there's way too many Movie Mates channels. Let's be honest. But we have our first special guest, which is our good friend, good buddy, good pal, which is Kash. We will not share your surname.
Thank you. I'm honoured to be on.
Mate, you're more than welcome to.
I was expecting you. Kash repeatedly takes the piss out of me introducing myself by just accidentally screaming into the mic. So that's what that was the energy I was expecting, Kash, and I was woefully disappointed.
Yeah, to be fair, I was thinking before hopping on and you guys doing it and then me going, Callum, and then just saying my real name instead. But
Mate,
I think that's
it's
two
a
in the
pleasure.
deep end.
It's a pleasure to have our first guest on, and that it's Kash. You know, for anyone who frequents our comment section, Kash is always there supporting with his witty lines and his sarcastic comments, and he's a generally lovely guy, isn't he, Callum? We've known him for a while now. And he's generally one of our best friends. So, Kash,
It's actually been a year now.
Been a year now,
It
yeah.
has been a year.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Last summer, man. That's crazy. Time flies in, but yeah. I suppose, Callum, did you want to hop in with a wee segment, or did you want to let the viewers know what movie we're going to be talking about? What did you want to do first?
I'll let them know what we're talking about today. So, in hot anticipation for the new release next week of The Kissing Booth 2, we're obviously gonna harken back to the original and share our thoughts and our opinions on that. Hopefully, take the piss because it's disastrous. Let's be honest. I mean, Kash, I already know his disdain for the film. I don't know Matthew's current opinion. But this was my second viewing, and I had a great time.
Yeah, it's one of those films, isn't it? It's I'm looking forward to talking about this one. I really am. It's a funny one. It really is. I think my opinions may be very similar to.
I mean, it depends what your definition of funny is.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a movie for sure.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
I have to say, my favorite brand of comedy is unintentional. So if a film is so shit that it makes me laugh, I usually have a good time.
I mean, yeah, definitely. It's like that Riverdale humor. It's just so bad. It's good.
That's exactly what it is. Actually, I never actually picked up on that. It is definitely a Riverdale type movie. But just before we start off our review of The Kissing Booth, guys, this is our first guest on the channel, of course, and we thought we'd have a wee segment for him, didn't we, Callum?
Yes, this is Matthew's responsibility. He wrote these questions, so he'll be barreling them at you, and I'll interject here and there. But the viewers know us somewhat, so we sort of wanted to get on a level playing field quickly with you, because we hope that you become a regular visitor to the channel.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. So we call this section Questions for Kash, and we've got a few questions here for you, buddy. And don't worry, they're not trivia related. They're just a little bit about yourself and what movies you like. So the first one is, what is your favorite movie?
Oh my, that's a difficult one. I really don't know.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't really think about that too often. And also, I really haven't watched that many movies, like the classics. Of recent times, it's Invisible Man. I just really like it.
Haven't seen it. I wanted to see that one. Have you seen it, Callum?
I haven't seen it, but I mean, Kash, all you need to do to watch the classics is just follow the guidelines of the content covered by the Movie Mates podcast, because we've just been not knocking out episodes on the classics recently.
Yeah, that's true. Well, obviously I've watched like Indiana Jones. I was getting to watch Star Wars, but I still haven't finished all of those ones. I haven't watched like Shawshank Redemption or any Tarantino movies basically. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm
me
lost
neither.
missing.
Yeah,
I would say obviously we're talking about a romantic comedy today, and I would say that's my favorite genre, and Matthew's favorite film, 500 Days of Summer, also falls under that category. So just in that genre, because I think that's one that we talk about the most aside from superheroes. What falls into it for you?
I'm not gonna lie, I hate rom-coms, I think.
Oh,
I
so you did
really
not have a good
do.
time today,
Yeah.
very obviously, because
No,
even if
like-
this was a good rom-com, you wouldn't have liked it.
Like what do you define as a good rom-com? I don't know if this is a rom-com. Well, it's actually not a rom-com, but I really like La La Land.
yeah,
it's
good
not a
shout.
Yeah,
rom-com.
sure.
Good
You know,
shout, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that, love that. What's your favorite rom-com, Callum? I think you've mentioned it before in the channel, but it's any.
I mean, it's
About
of course
time?
about time.
Yeah,
But you
gotta
know,
be, man.
so like very very close to that is When Harry Met Sally.
Good shout, classic as well. And I suppose Cash, in a similar vein to a favorite movie, you know, you're an avid watcher of Riverdale, as are we, and we hopefully we'll get you on for Riverdale recaps soon in the future for season 5. But what is your favorite TV show aside from Riverdale, of course?
Oh, actually, this is a good one because I watch more TV shows. Community's really good.
Good shout. Haven't seen it though. That's the Russo brothers have had some involvement.
Yeah, they did like the first. Oh, they did about 5 seasons of it.
Yeah, and they're responsible for like all the paintball episodes.
Yeah, exactly. This is a really weird one, but the animated Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's really good. It's like the
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've
Nickelodeon
heard
one.
really good things.
Yeah.
It's really good. I recently watched that, and then
Cool.
How I Met Your Mother is pretty good too.
That's another
See,
one.
I knew that How I Met Your Mother was going to come up because I was just listening to music from the finale, and I thought, oh shit, yeah, Cash watched that, and we
Yeah.
often get into discussion because I don't think you don't have as much disdain for the finale as me.
Yeah, no, it is bad, but I watched this YouTube video which like gives you like a different perspective, and that way's better. So I'm just gonna pretend that's what actually happened for the finale, but it's awful.
Yeah, that's a great shout, buddy. Great shout. I've just a couple more questions here, buddy. Who is your favorite actor and actress? Because Callum and I recently talked about this in the show, maybe a couple episodes ago, like actors that we thought were like overrated or underrated. And is there any particular favorites from you, buddy? Any particular TV show actors or
Ooh.
movie actors you can recall?
I really like from Suits. What's he called? He's Harvey. Gabriel something. But he's awesome. Like he just looks cool. And Leonardo DiCaprio, I think, is just
Yeah,
I just love him. Like
he's good in everything. I've seen him in as well. He's very
yeah, exactly.
consistent. Yeah, that's a great shout.
Who was your guys' favorite actors?
Callum, do you want to take it away? With yours?
Mine was Donald Gleason from About Time. Was yours Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the end, Matthew?
Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's my favorite actor, and then actress. I suppose did we get into actress? Might have done. Who's your favorite actress, Cal?
We did mention actresses, and I said Rachel McAdams, but I honestly think that's just for the spectacular pairing between her and Donald Gleason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm a big Scarlett Johansson fan because obviously she has the Avengers, but she's also great with like accent work and Jojo Rabbit, and she's great in Marriage Story.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Pretty much I know she's had some misses with like Ghost in the Shell, but everything that I've been privy to, she's been pretty incredible.
Yeah, man, those are great shouts, man. Any favorite actresses from you, Callum or Cash? Sorry.
Actually, Scarlett Johansson is a good one. Margot Robbie, but
Yeah,
obviously just watch like one movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what other actresses are there that are like popular.
There's Scarlett Johansson is probably like the best mix of like box office, like successful box office films, and also like critically, she's a great shout. So yeah, I'd agree with you in those ones. And obviously Margot Robbie's fantastic as well.
Yeah.
I suppose, Cash, that just a couple more questions for you. We'll leave the big one to the end because I know and I think I have a lot to say about that one. But
I mean, there's a big one that you didn't write on the list for today, but that I'm very interested in asking.
Okay, interesting, man. Interesting. So, just before we hit with that question, do you have any favorite directors?
No, not genuinely no.
Fair.
No. I
Well, it's been great having you on, Cash.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to guys now. Yeah.
Okay, no
Yeah,
favorite
no.
characters, fair. What is your favorite? And we've mentioned you're a big Riverdale fan. Favorite Riverdale character and season?
Oh, season 1 is the best. Like, it just has
Yeah,
to
by
be.
far.
Yeah. If you think any of the other seasons are better, you're just wrong. And that's just factual.
Brilliant.
Favorite character in Riverdale? No, all of them are awful, but who would be the one I would laugh at the most? Oh, Cheryl. Yeah.
Cheryl.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about the fact yesterday that you didn't even know who Sweet-Pea was.
Yeah, I don't.
Because we were talking about celebrity RuPaul's Drag Race with my brother, and like for some reason, like the celebrity that won it and one of the biggest celebrities on it was like, my brother doesn't watch Riverdale, so he'd always reference the Riverdale actor on it, and then it turned out it was Sweet-Pea, and I'm like, that's a celebrity.
Yeah, I think he's in like 4 scenes in Riverdale.
Yeah, I mean, he was introduced in like season 3, and they're only on season 4. So I mean, to call him a celebrity is generous off the back of the 4 scenes he's been in.
Yeah,
I remember in like season 3 or like 2, I was convinced Sweet-Pea and like another actor on the show were the same people that they were using as different characters.
Yeah, I thought it was Sweet-Pea and is it Reggie?
Yes, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's it.
Red, yeah.
It's sort of like long-haired, muscular dudes, but
Yeah.
I get you. And Callum, what's your favorite Riverdale character in season, buddy?
Well, yeah, as Kash said, like, can you guys hear me right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah, okay, sorry, I just had
There
to
you
turn
go.
my mic off for a second because I was making some fucking weird noises, I'll be honest. But yeah, as you said, like quality-wise, undoubtedly, it has to be season 1. But I think what was the I would say the Black Hood mystery of season 2 was probably the most interesting, but it was obviously the most. It was probably like the second worst written season after season 3.
It's a good shout.
But character-wise, I mean, obviously the core 4 are all awful in their individual ways. Like Betty and Archie, both cheat on their partners, and like Veronica is just she's just unbelievably stupid for someone that's trying to get into an Ivy League school. Just announcing every single business venture for her dad to have the chance to destroy it. Like she goes to the dinner table and it's like, Daddy, I'm starting this new business. Daddy, I'm starting this new business. And then she's like, what are you doing when he like comes with like, a sledgehammer to destroy it?
At the same time, though, I do love the way Hiram like literally is trying to kill her boyfriend. And they just act like it's normal.
This is like a 45-year-old man trying to kill a 17-year-old.
And they're just like, oh, it's fair play, it's fair competition,
And now he's the mayor.
But he's also got a weird bone disease that makes him like struggle bench pressing or something.
Yeah, like I was so confident when they introduced that he was lying. But like it seemed as the season progressed that it seems that he actually is telling the truth, weirdly.
Per Hiram.
Wait, was he lying about the bone disease thing? I don't.
No, I just assumed that because like that, they like announced that as sort of like the Deus Ex Machina to like get Veronica to stay. So I thought it was a manipulation. It seems from his behavior since the announcement of it that I don't think that he is lying anymore.
Yeah, I don't think he's lying, but yeah, he only struggles.
Like maybe he was the boy that cried wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was the question that you wanted to ask Kash that wasn't on the list, Callum? You crack on there, buddy.
Well, I would say, we go off on a lot of tangents on the podcast. We say some weird, dumb shit frequently. So I would say the most the question that I've found most interesting, most morally complex is, if you fucking alien, is it bestiality?
No.
I'll give you some context, Kash. We were talking about Peter Pan, and we launched into a discussion of like the trope of like the alien visitor from the stars coming down, and they romance a lady or something, and then they have sex and then they have to leave. And I was just wondering, what's the distinction between like an alien and an animal? Because I mean, it's like a sentient non-human. Like, what's the difference?
Well, I think actually though, is an alien not just something that's like not like familiar? Is it not?
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
the actual adjective just means foreign, like, you know, something that's not familiar to you. But I mean, like, you know, the idea of an extraterrestrial.
well, picture this. What if they were extraterrestrial beings, but they were just like literally the same as humans? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, like, because we're sort of talking about Thor, but you know, his race is like so advanced that you know, like his race is so advanced that people confuse them for gods. So like him sort of slumming it with a human is like questionable. Like, is actually more questionable than a human, like, you know, like having sex with him, because he's meant to be like, you know, so advanced that he's like beyond them.
Yeah, I think you've just broken the entire Percy Jackson series though by saying that.
Well, I mean, they have like centaurs and shit who presumably are like, you know, having sex with humans.
Yeah, actually, that's also true.
Yeah,
I
we like to
think
get
it
into the big
is
topics here at the channel, don't we, Callum?
the most important issues on the
Yeah,
forefront.
exactly that.
Yeah, you know, the biggest like family friendly questions you can ask, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say no for the question. I don't think it is. It probably could
Okay,
be,
I
but
think
it
that's gonna
isn't.
need to. I think that question is going to need to be a staple for all guests that we get on.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
if you're listening, viewers, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Is it bestiality? We'd love to hear your thoughts. And I suppose the last question, Cash, will not take up any more of your time before we head in with the movie review. And it's probably the second most important question, along with the bestiality one. What is your favorite Movie Mates episode, if you have one at all?
Oh, it was actually one just a couple episodes ago. I don't remember what it was about, but it was just really funny. No, because
I don't remember.
I just like,
right?
yeah, I just remember you were talking absolute trash, and then the description was so funny of the video. What was it then? And I'm gonna find it, and because I just usually skip into the podcast where you guys just go off on a tangent because I find that bit the most entertaining.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
What was the one where I commented the description on this episode is godly?
That must have been 47, I think. That was the recent Disney one, wasn't it, Callum?
Yeah, that was Disney.
Oh
Plus
yes,
4.
I think because you were talking about
That was the bestiality
and
chat,
that.
wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's why I really like that one. Obviously, I mean, who wouldn't?
Well, no, thank you very much, Cash. You've always been a very loyal subscriber and friend to us, so we really do appreciate that. But
Oh, no worries.
I like how the subscriber comes first in that list of importance.
Subscriber then friend, obviously.
No, you know what I mean, man. You know, you're
Yeah, I do.
we love to have you on the podcast. So I hope this will be the first appearance of what is many to become.
I do too. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. So I suppose, guys, that you just wanna hop right in with the actual movie review then of the day.
Yeah, sure. It's been a long discussion now to have actually not discussed the movie yet.
It has. It's been good though. It's been good to get to know Cash a bit more. So this movie.
I'm sorry, like I'm looking at like my movie notes, and then like I'd written like in the notes for the movie, because I didn't have like, you know, questions for Cash. Like it just says kissing booth, then first point is fucking an alien bestiality. So I was like, does that come up in this movie?
You know, it's such a confusing film. It might do.
Yeah.
Just brief thoughts from you guys before we got into plot specific points. Did you like it?
Cash, we'll go with you first.
Okay. I liked laughing at it, but not with it. And there's just a lot of quotes that I've written down, which are just amazing.
Yeah, there's some spectacular. Like, there's one absolute highlight for me that we will get to because it's around the middle point of the film, but it's just sensational.
It's just like they made the movie almost too realistic to the point where it was just awkward. Did you not feel like that? Like, you know the way in a movie it's kind of, like, obviously they're trying to make it like relatable, but it was just almost too relatable. Where it was like, I don't think the script writers like tried to write the dialogue very well. They were just like it was as if they were like texting, but then had to read out the text messages. It was that awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that like the douchey dudes definitely act like, you know, like American jocks do in other American films and what I assume in real life. But like Elle being like the actual like protagonist and lead of the film, she doesn't actually feel like any women I've ever met. Like no woman that I've ever met would go, "Oh, this guy slapped me on the ass. Yeah, I'll definitely take him on a date." They were like, they would either like punch him in the nose or like call the police.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a major issue with the film. You know, a lot of the film's humor does derive from situations that wouldn't be funny in real life.
Yeah, not at all. Like,
You know,
I can just imagine this movie versus 13 Reasons Why. Like, imagine.
Oh my god.
Just look at the
Yeah, like,
contrast.
do you mean like if you made 13 Reasons Why a comedy and like, because obviously like the less extreme elements of 13 Reasons Why, yeah, I sometimes see, yeah, some there are some parallels to this of sort of just the monotony of the high school experience, like, but if, yeah, like laughing at like horrible situations like this, it doesn't seem right.
Yeah, no, it's just the fact, like, in this one, they're like, this happens, and they're like, haha, bring the guy out on a date. That happens in 13 Reasons Why. And it's like,
yeah,
that happens. It's just like
it's there's some even horrific lines in here. You know, Noah says to Elle, wearing a skirt like that is asking for it, and I just like, seriously.
Like we talked about Peter Pan recently and how big of like a chauvinistic pig he is, but like Noah is the king of that. Like he is a disgusting asshole. Like he's an absolute cretin. You know, like he's a obviously amazing looking guy. You know, I understand it. I understand how a girl would like him, but then like surely when you like pick apart his personality, you'd be disgusted. It's kind of like the question where you watch American films about high schools, or you actually live the high school experience, or for us, like the secondary school experience.
Sure.
And like you just don't understand why these like people with terrible personalities are like the most popular. Like, are you ever confused, like when you see people in your school, Cash, and like they just have like they just have like a completely like ass personality, but they're like top of the social scene. Like that's how I feel about
really
Noah.
Confuses me, especially in said school that I go to. Like there's some people who have the personality of literally paper. I think I could have a better conversation with a newspaper, and they're popular, and it's just confusing.
Yeah, see, the thing about this film, it feels sort of unoriginal as well. You know, there's a lot of things that are ripped off here from so many other teen romance movies and other movies, and like it's such a strange film. You know, and it's in a similar sense to how we talked about Gone with the Wind, Callum. Like, there's not really a
No.
I know. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there.
Like, if you haven't seen our episode, like our entire Gone with the Wind is about it being like pro-slavery propaganda with marital rape. And Matthew's like, to quote our Gone with the Wind review.
Is that the really old like blackface movie?
No, there's no blackface in it, but it's from 1939. It sort of like glorifies slavery, and the entire, like, it's a romantic film, but it's from like the perspective of like the Confederates, which were the people fighting to keep slavery. So like you're meant to be like rooting for this romance, but the two people that are in love are both like horrible racists.
Go check out
like so much better,
guys.
I know, like those are the protagonists that you're meant to be like cheering for.
Yeah, and that's a sort of similar point that I wanted to say about in this film. You know, the two protagonists in Gone with the Wind, you don't like them. You know, it's clear that you don't identify with them. But in this film, I think it's the same for different reasons, granted. But the protagonists, Elle and Lee, you know, I thought I didn't particularly see myself in any of them, and I didn't think they were fantastic. And Noah as well, like he gets a lot more screen time than I thought he was going to have in this film, to be honest. And,
although in defense of Gone with the Wind, it is like 80 years ago. This is like a year ago, and it's still not bad. What's the excuse there? You know what I mean?
It's just like it's just a weird one because Noah. It's weird because Noah seems like the kind of guy that would totally be up for a kissing booth. So I'm very surprised that you rejected it from the beginning.
I suppose like he only wants people that he finds attractive. I mean, you could say that it's because the only girl that he wanted to kiss was Elle. But then he was like, kissing that girl at the party. So like it's hardly like he had this desperate emotional connection to Elle, where every other girl like was no longer an option. Like he was, he was clearly still after every other woman in that school that he found attractive.
Sure.
I even I hated that concept of the kissing booth or whatever. It's so awkward and weird.
Yeah,
like surely that's illegal.
yeah, because like the school is promoting that as well, but it seems like if they have a problem with like someone wearing a short skirt, why do they have why don't they have a problem with like this like hypersexual scenario, like to raise funds for the school?
Yeah, no, it's just weird.
The film's message, even regarding, like, I don't want to get too deep into this film because it doesn't deserve it, to be honest. But, like, it's just, the film has a really confusing message about, like, just the sexualization of what is clearly a teenage girl. Like, it definitely has an issue there, and in a similar sense to how Riverdale does it. Although, but you know, even in this film, like, the principal decides to punish Elle, even though she's the one who got, you know,
Exactly.
assaulted, pretty much. Well, it's
Yeah.
definitely
But I
that.
mean that's sort of where, like, you know, where, as Cash said, like it doesn't actually, you know, go beyond the realm of believability, because I mean I feel like when you're in
Oh
school,
yeah.
the punishment never fits the crime. Like I have literally been punched, like, you know, punched in the face, and then I pushed someone, and then like they slapped me in the head. And when like someone reported that to a teacher, the teacher said, "Oh, they slapped you in the head like this," and then they slapped me in the head as hard as the person did. Uh, and you know, there was one time that like someone jabbed me in the ribs. It was the same guy actually, like, jabbed me in the ribs, and then I like jumped on his back, and the teacher like sat us down to apologize to each other. And we just sat there for like a full like 18 minutes while my teacher was like, "Okay, like you can only leave when you both apologize." And I was like, "I'm not going to apologize. I didn't do anything wrong."
Yeah.
And like eventually I was just like, you're making me late to class. Like if a teacher asks me why I'm late, I'm going to say it was you. So he eventually relented. But I just feel like in school that, like, Cash is just sending us through quotes.
Yeah, no, these are my favorite quotes.
And I hope if we do, I hope if we release this video, I don't know if that comes up in the recording, but I hope it
I hope it
does.
does. Yeah. For anyone who doesn't,
you know,
this doesn't come up in the recording, Cash just sent us the line, "If it's cross-dressing, I'm in."
yeah.
But
But
yeah,
like
going back to you,
Matthew, have you ever experienced being like punished, you know, unfairly at school?
There's no way Matthew's ever been punished.
I've
Never
been in
mind
detention a few times.
I've been in detention as well.
Oh!
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
Was it like being too nice or something?
No, well, I'll tell you one story. So, my first detention, like, someone in my Callum will know this story well. Someone in my class needed a highlight or a rubber, so then I threw it to them. But somehow it did like a Matrix style gravity physics bending trajectory.
Yeah.
And it like bounced off the wall, off the teacher's computer monitor, off the keyboard, and then into the teacher's face. The teacher's just like, "Who did this?" I just like burst into tears. And this was like not even that long ago. Like, it's just like
Yeah.
maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. So it's like, it's still embarrassing.
Okay, what? That's ages. So when you're like second year or something?
Yeah, second year, and or maybe even year 10, to be honest. It might have been that recently.
Like Matthew knows this story very, very well, but whenever I was in year 10, I had a teacher who told us to do some work, and then I was doing the work that she told me to do, like the exact work that she told me to do, which was just copying, like, it was a languages teacher. I was copying, you know, vocabulary, and then she just decides to like bound up to me and says, like, "Callum, what do you think you're doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm just doing the work you told us to do literally 40 seconds ago." And then she was like, "No, Callum, I believe you're mistaken. This is homework." I was like, it's definitely not, but okay. And then she decided, like, after a very quick exchange where people alleged that I cried. I did not cry, I assure you. I would have had it been in first year, but this teacher just meant so little to me. I was like, well, she hasn't earned my tears. So she gave me a C merit is what was in our school. So that meant that I got an instant lunchtime detention, and that's the only detention I've had. So I've never earned a detention. Actually, no, I've been kept after school before, but that was a whole other issue.
I think one of my unfair punishments was, it was in like second year. Everyone was like bottle flipping. Remember that? And
Yeah.
you know, me being an absolute baller, I was just winging it really high. It's too fair, yeah. But everyone was bottle flipping, and the teacher was out of the classroom, and everyone's bottle flipping, and then he comes back in, and literally everyone's everyone stops, and then he just goes, "You," and sends me out of the classroom. I'm like, everyone else is bottle flipping, so he's like, "No." And then I just sat outside the classroom for like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
But
it's just bullying sometimes when they just like pick, like, you know, if like 8 people are doing the same thing and they just like, you know, single one person out, and like they take the collective blame for the entire activity.
yeah,
That's a great point. Have you ever gotten into a fight at school, Cash?
Someone's hit me before, but never hit back. Like, I think it was in like second year. Someone just backhanded me.
Yep.
I don't even remember.
Matthew, like, Matthew, please tell me you like stabbed someone's domain. Please tell
No,
me.
no.
Please tell me.
I'm trying to think if I ever gotten
he
the-
didn't let me as robber, so I just get him the and it just knocked him out.
Yeah, the wee
The
1-2
judo
in the
chop.
uppercut.
Yeah, exactly. I just hit him with a UFC flying kick in the head, and he gave me the rubber.
No,
I've
like no, the biggest way that Matthew can harm someone is like I am literally friend. Like he is the man that like is literally friends with everyone. Like you would have to murder someone in his close family to like get a bad reaction from Matthew. So like the biggest thing he could ever say is like, you're not my friend, and then you just die. You're just deceased.
What is it, like Thanos? He just clicks you away.
Oh yeah, gone.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, I've never been in a fight. You recalled a few experiences there, Callum. Any other experiences?
Well, I mean, I have never. Honestly, there's one time I've thrown a punch to someone's face one time in my life, and it was when me and my brother were watching Wizards of Waverly Place. When we were at a tender age. I was probably 9, and he was probably 11. And we both had a crush on Selena Gomez, of course. So we of course, knowing ourselves as the eligible bachelors that we were, obviously would be her first and second choice. So we were having a duel to see who deserved her more. So I think I gave him a black eye. I don't know, but I did sort of I had started like the jiu-jitsu at that point. So like I sort of like jumped in the air and like came down with sort of like a downward punch like to the face. So he went down like a sack of shit. But that's the only time that I've instigated a fight. I've never exchanged blows with anyone past that age. But there was one time in probably second or third year where just at the end of the day, like unprovoked, someone in my form class just like pins me up against the wall and just starts like throwing haymakers at me. Like he didn't hit me in the face, but like he was going for like chest, ribs, stomach, and then I just like sort of like collapsed onto the floor. But then the next day, he had broken his leg, and I sort of went like, maybe God is real, and that's sort of when that's when I went from atheist to agnostic.
Brilliant. Like, you've been through the wars, man.
Yeah, like I have been through some shit. Like bullying is rife in schools, and I just don't think there's enough done about it.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. It's a great point, buddy. And yeah, like we sort of mentioned in this film, like it seems like like sort of Kash had hinted at, it is sort of similar to real life in the terms of the lack of punishment there, or and rather the punishment for Elle in this case. But yeah, like sort of Kash and you had said perfectly, guys. There is some really dodgy, horrific lines in here that I just can't wait for you to get into later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked very little about the actual narrative of the film. So if we want to start with sort of the quite embarrassing, let's be honest, the admittedly like incredibly cringy opening 10 or so minutes.
Sure.
Yeah.
It opens with one of the first words spoken in the film is Elle calling herself a cute baby, which I think is there's nothing less appealing than just calling yourself like, oh yeah, like this uggo, and then this dream child. I'd pretty much be the polar opposite of that. I wouldn't exactly rate my pictures to that positive effect.
Yeah, like here's a question, guys. We see at the start of this film, like Elle and Lee have been, they're born at the exact same day, at the exact same time. They're soulmates and stuff. But did you ever expect them to get together by the end of the film? Because I thought that's where it was going, and I was like, please.
Really?
Yeah.
Matthew, I think you're using too much brain power for a movie like this. Like,
yeah, you've constructed too logical a narrative.
Yeah.
No, but there were a few points at which I was thinking that, but I'm glad that isn't the route that they went down, because he sort of refers to her constantly as his like. Well, he never says like twin sister, but in the opening montage, they go, oh, we were born on the same day. We're practically twins. They for the most part, the Flynn mother acted as like her surrogate mother. So they're sort of they have sort of like a twin sibling relationship. Yet Lee like plays with her bras and asks to watch porn with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she announces that she lies that she's watching porn, and obviously saying that she's masturbating, and then he's like, "Can I join?" And it's just there's nothing creepier a thing you could say to a female friend.
Yeah, I just saw Cash. Cash literally just went into the camera, just like as while he was typing, and then went like this here, like brilliant. But no, I do agree with you. It's weird because the two actors they have very little chemistry, in my opinion.
Do you mean? Oh yeah, you mean like friendship chemistry? Yeah. There's pretty much nothing there. I mean,
Absolutely.
whenever me and Matthew are out on the town, like it's electric.
Yeah.
But the whole I guess the main argument of the film is whether you sort of we see this sort of dynamic between Elle and Noah. They want to pursue a relationship, but of course Elle's best friend, but also Noah's brother, interjects and doesn't want them dating their sibling. And I sort of said, don't get me wrong, I can respect someone for not wanting to date their sibling. And I just wanted to know what are your guys' thoughts on that, because I know you two are you two have siblings as well. So like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I just think it's none of Lee's fucking business. I mean, obviously by the end of the film, he recognizes that the rule to we're talking about this so seriously, it's fucking dumb. But the rule that you like appreciate your friend's successes, that should obviously supersede the don't date relatives rule.
Yeah.
I think like widening it to relatives is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because I have zero contact with my cousins, like, so if I had that rule, it would just be ridiculous. I wouldn't have a problem with me dating my siblings' friends. But like,
the other way around.
I probably wouldn't want it the other way around. I mean, Cash, that's probably fair for you. Like, you probably don't want your 21-year-old sister dating 17-year-olds.
Yeah, no, that's, I think, very reasonable, and it's just weird. It just is.
But as Kash and Matthew know, I prefer an older lady. So I'm fine. Like, I would consider myself up for dating a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Callum, I'd love if you just read out some of the quotes I put in the chat.
I will read them. I'll give a dramatic reading if I can just get them up.
There are a few bangers in there.
Yeah, the three quotes. I'll come close to the mic. I can't currently see myself, so if I look odd, but I'll just go close. My boobs are fantastic. When did you get your boobs? Any excuse to cross-dress, and I'm in. Are we just gonna clip that out, and that's just gonna become like my epitaph when I die?
Yeah, we're putting that in
That's going to the intro. That's going to the intro.
I mean, my boobs are fantastic would have been a quote that made more sense maybe 3 years ago when I was a bit chunkier.
Oh, bless.
That's actually why I wrote that one down, Callum, just for you.
Yeah. For the reminiscing of when I had boobs.
Yeah, but that's actually how they should have read them out in the movie, because they just tried to say them and make them not come off as creepy. Like, they just tried to make it like normal, which is just so awkward.
Do you think the movie's so self-aware that it recognizes that like the slow-mo shots of Elle looking pretty, and also like the slow-mo shots of like Noah, and like he's just shirtless and he's jacked? I think that's intentional.
I don't really think it's intentional at all. No, I don't think that it has any self-awareness whatsoever.
Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to like.
You're okay, man.
Get a connection to my wireless charger, because my phone is on 5%, and like I have to like, you obviously cut this out, but like Cash, like I have to like plug my mic into the charging port of my phone, so I can't like charge my phone as I'm doing this, and my laptop is absolute shite. So I mean, I'll maybe try the laptop, because like using my phone is a bit of an annoyance, honestly.
Yeah, I'm using my laptop. It's so much easier.
Like I'm getting a laptop with uni, so hopefully that'll be a big improvement.
Yeah, definitely. I have something I really want to talk about.
Go for it.
Okay, okay, go ahead, Cash.
I think we should be renamed the OMG Boys.
We should call the people's group chat, change it to that with no explanation.
The OMG Boys.
Yeah, that was, I think, one of my favorite moments of the movie, when the OMG girls got introduced.
Oh man.
Yeah, because obviously that's them just like stealing the plastics from Mean Girls. It's very clearly just them robbing that from it.
Yeah, this movie does steal a lot. It even steals like the rules that are ripped from Zombieland as well.
Oh yeah,
That's so
true.
the visuals of the rule book at least. Yeah.
Wait, can I just talk?
Yeah, you go for it. You crack on.
One of my favorite characters had to be the yearbook guy. Do you know?
I mean, like he does take incredibly creepy pictures from time to time, but
exactly.
Exactly. You're like, I respect the dude.
No,
respect his dedication.
He's definitely gonna catch like a felony, like surely. Like I almost expected, the scene where they were like up in like at the Hollywood sign.
Yeah.
I almost expected him out of the yearbook.
Yeah, just him wrapped around like the middle of the O, just like down on them.
Yeah, like how are they even getting up there without security?
Yeah. Think about it. You know the scene. The scene in Iron Man 2 where Tony's in the donut. It's just that kid like in the O.
Brilliant. You know what? One character I really did sympathize with throughout the film is Lee's new girlfriend Rachel, because I think Lee treats her quite badly.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
because he just.
Well, I mean.
I think there's a bit where like he goes to tell her like his birthday wish is a secret, but then absolutely dodges her and goes to Elle. I was like, that is brutal, man. That is brutal.
Yeah, I thought it was quite grim when like he like invited Elle to the formal and like
without even asking Rachel.
Yeah,
I know. Like he clearly values his best friendship over his relationship, which a lot of people do, and there's a certain respect, to the sense of the bro code of like valuing your friends over your relationship. But I feel like, I feel like friends fight and make up. Like you don't normally break up with your friends, so I feel like if you're like risking an argument, you'd probably rather have a fight with a friend than a partner.
That's a great point.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
But
like Rachel actually seems like one of the genuinely nice characters in the film. We see her like chase after Elle to sort of like comfort her and stuff after the prom, in which Noah gets absolutely roasted at that prom by Elle, to be honest. She just absolutely leaves him for dead in the middle, like just everyone just stared at him. I kind of felt a little bit bad for him, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
It was.
I mean, like she has made that entire evening about her. Like not a single person, has enjoyed that prom to the same level that they would if she didn't make that her moment. Like she's literally there with Lee and Rachel as a throuple, and she's just like she's putting all the attention on her, even though she's the one like crashing a date.
Not even that. I hated the way they like acted like the kissing booth was like this like historic moment, like when they're walking there, they're like the kissing booth. Like they acted like they just found the cure for
cancer.
Going to the
intro.
In their like problem.
Yeah, no, it was literally like it got like 2 people to fuck, and then aside from that, it was nothing.
Like we've talked about the lack of likability for the lead characters here, and it's a strange, like Callum said at the beginning of the podcast, like I can get why girls would be attracted to Noah. Like he's one of the most handsome men I've ever seen, to be honest. And to be fair, like Lee, I don't really get in sort of teen films, just teen films in general, like there's always a character who gets like really just mistreated by their peers. We've sort of seen that in the Raimi film, the Spider-Man films, with like Peter Parker. Like he doesn't seem like that bad of a guy that people are like shoving him at the science like the science trip and stuff. And it kind of makes me wonder, like I saw this in the Caravan of Garbage, like Mason was saying, like it kind of makes him wonder like what he did before this film that makes everyone hate him.
Yeah.
Kind of got me thinking like Lee in this film. He doesn't seem like that bad of a guy, but what has he done before this that makes people dislike him?
Yeah, for like say in Spider-Man, like when he's running for the bus, like what has he done on that bus? Like has he done some like really sus things that like should get someone expelled?
Yeah, I know. And just oh man, like Kash, do you watch Mr. Sunday movies?
No.
No, he makes really good like film and TV content, like especially superhero stuff. He does like trailer breakdowns and stuff. I think you really appreciate it because like he's sort of what we aspire to be. But we go a bit more analytical at expense of making jokes because I feel like like you can't make fun of like every part of every film, because like if we try to make our like Gone with the Wind review into a comedy, like we would be cancelled.
Yeah, no, definitely, because sometimes you see those commentary YouTubers who over criticize stuff, and it is just a bit annoying at one point. Like, obviously, it's like funny for the first bit, and then you're like,
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. Do you mean like when they criticize stuff and then like laugh at their own jokes? Because like we certainly criticize stuff, but we're not like slapping our knee like thinking like we're hot shit.
No, but it's only that. It's like it'll be like the character's wearing like a blue T-shirt, and they'll be like, "That is a bad shade of blue," and you're like, well, maybe there's like better things to be like laughing at in this film or whatever, and you're like, not the T-shirts or like small obscure gestures and stuff. But
yeah, definitely. Like it does get too nitpicky. But one thing that I'm gonna nitpick in this film is like there's one scene in this film where Elle gets drunk at a party, which is before the kissing booth actually happens. But the OMG girls are like handing her shots, and she's doing this shot, and her exact shot face is like my reaction to tequila, but they're 100% doing like raspberry sours. They're like that shit is red. Like they are, and they're like they've done like 2 shots, and you know they're like stripping for everybody. Like it's hilarious to watch, but like I guess that is what a 16-year-old even here is like. You know they're like, you know, pounding the cactus jacks and thinking they're like, oh send me to uni, I'm fucked. You know, like that is like all of our 16-year-old friends.
Like, while watching the movie, I did love to imagine that the people on the dance floor is how Callum would dance on the dance floor.
Hey, you know, you haven't seen me on the dance floor, and like Matthew has like to some degree. Like we've talked about our style of dancing previously, how Matthew, like, you know, I worked on a short film a few months ago, and like Matthew came on as an extra, and you know there was a dance sequence that we had to do, and like Matthew, like you know, as the camera was panning to him, like he was like, oh, I'm like, this can be my moment, so he just starts doing the Running Man, and like, you know, it was not what I expected, but like, you know, when I'm on the dance floor, I'm cutting shapes, you know, like you know, I talked about this
sprinkler.
Exactly.
I'm sure I have done that, or like, you know, the shopping trolley, like.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, but you know, like we've talked about this on the podcast before, how like, you know, I expected, you know, when I got to the dance club, like that I would embarrass myself because other people would be like, you know, this ridiculous, like, you know, have this ridiculous quality of dancing. But I mean, I would say mine are like the least embarrassing, because then there's also, you know, people like, I mean, Matthew, you haven't really been to like the proper like cretin clubs. Like you've been to, like you've just been to the one, which. Yeah, you've just been to Limelight, which is probably like the most wholesome, innocent club in Belfast that you can go to. Like there are ones for, you know, like people that you don't want to interact with that I've been to, and it's just a floor full of people like staring into like your female friend's eyes and like eyeing them up and like, you know, doing like the e-boy like lick of the lips. Like it's disgusting. So like, you know, so like comparatively, like me cutting shapes and like doing this on the floor is like 10 times less embarrassing than like,
but
you know,
at the same time,
like 10 years down the line look back on themselves.
What's the point if it's not embarrassing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because then no one's paying attention to you. You're nondescript. Like you're unnoteworthy. Like, you know, do something special. Because I'm certain that like if like I haven't seen the short film yet, but like it's gonna be released soon. But like I'm hoping that Matthew's on camera, like doing the Running Man.
Man, like yeah, like we sort of talked about in this film, like our criticisms for it and stuff, and you know, it's weird because Netflix, I suppose, is quite hit or miss, you know, especially in the rom-com department, and yeah, like it sort of feels like I don't want to say like Netflix is getting worse with their films, but you
do want to say is they are getting worse.
Yeah, like this movie is like far from, I don't want to say the pinnacle of Netflix rom-coms, because like my pinnacle of Netflix rom-coms is like When We First Met and like The Last Summer and stuff, which I know they're the most well regarded.
Yeah, I have seen the pinnacle of Netflix films, of Netflix romantic comedies, and that would probably be To All the Boys I've Loved Before. The first one, the second one is ass, but To All the Boys I Loved Before and Always Be My Maybe. Those are probably the pinnacle of like actually being funny. Like, you know, like never are you like laughing at how bad the film is, which is, you know, all that this film is.
Yeah,
one of my favorite scenes was the paint scene, especially. Do you remember that one?
Oh, just when she's like, you can't tell me what to do, while she's like, while she's doing a
and then just starts running around. Yeah.
This
But I
school
mean,
that they're in, it's a very sexualized school, isn't it?
yeah.
I was
That's what
gonna
I
say
was
like
thinking.
she thinks that she's doing like a sexy dance and that like she's like the like the boys are doing something wrong by like staring at her, but she's sexually harassing them because she's entered their domain. Like that's like me going like half naked into a women's bathroom and saying and saying and saying like you guys are eyeballing me, I'm uncomfortable.
And then doing a couple
Like
laps, and then
yeah,
just
doing
like
a couple laps
dancing.
and
Callum's
like
doing the shopping trolley.
Yeah, yeah.
like gyrating. But then she's like, whenever Noah is telling her to leave, which is what the women in a women's bathroom would tell me to do, she's like, honey, you can't tell me what to do. So like that isn't a logical reaction in my opinion.
Yeah, like I did that when I was in school, and I got in trouble.
Yeah, mad.
Unbelievable.
Again, we said about undeserved punishments, like
Yeah.
Cash getting an after school for that, ridiculous.
The double standards.
That scene is very similar to that in like in Riverdale as well, because I think there's a scene like very on like the season 1 or 2 days where like Betty and
Yeah,
Veronica
that's
are in the
exactly
boys,
what I was thinking.
are in the boys' ginger rooms, but then all the guys start making like bulldog noises.
What?
Yeah,
I do
like
not remember this.
to intimidate them, they're all just like
Yeah.
get in the middle of the changing rooms.
Oh god.
Like there is a question as to whether it's sexist that they're obviously like gawking at her, but she has
Yeah.
and entered that room and she is told to leave and she is unwilling to do so. So I mean like it seems fair to criticize that if she's the one saying like you're not going to tell me what to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great point, Callum. It's a great point, and yeah, like we sort of like we've mentioned it before, like the L character, like she is like she's got her good traits and stuff, but also like I don't think there's a lot of things that you can definitely criticize her for, and also Lee as well, and his sort of control over her romance with Noah and stuff. And I kind of wanted to ask you guys, like, do you think did you ever really appreciate or was there ever one moment that you enjoyed the Noah L dynamic? Because I thought it was entirely bland for the movie, to be honest, guys. What are your thoughts?
Callum, you can go first.
Yeah, bland is definitely an accurate adjective, but I did actually think, the montage where they're sort of like going on these dates and they're hiding from people. Like I thought that was kind of cute. Like that's sort of the only time in the film where I was like, oh, that's kind of like a cute romance. Like that is how people that's how actual humans behave. And because, I suppose because it was a montage and he wasn't speaking, I wasn't like, what a piece of shit, for the first time in the film. So I think all of these characters work best when they're not being like the absolute worst, which is anytime they're speaking.
It's a great
point.
Definitely. What about you, Cash? What's your perspective on it, bro?
Yeah, it was pretty just like they didn't really show much like character depth, if you get me. They were just like, oh, one motorbike scene, we're done. And like next thing,
no, I do
like,
get you, man. It's very like rinse and repeat, isn't it? It's very cut and paste.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's a lot of scenes I think could have been cut from this film, because what is it? It's like 1 hour 45, and to be fair, it didn't feel that, in my opinion, for me, it didn't feel that long, but it certainly could have been trimmed, I think.
Well, I mean, when they get to the kissing booth, when they got to the kissing booth, and I was like, "Whew, this is probably like 2/3 in," and then I realized it was only 45 minutes in. Like it was that at that point it felt dire, and I just said that I considered the relationship in part cute, but what the part of the film that I'm like genuinely embarrassed on the behalf of Netflix for is the scene when of their first kiss, because this is the best quote in the film in my opinion, when Elle is blindfolded and Noah is led to her and she just goes, "Ooh, muscles," because like I feel like people have done that to Matthew's arm and said that. Like we had friends that like would call him like the god of arm just because like Matthew just had this like huge bicep, bicep. I mean, I was never privy to it. I never went in for a squeeze myself. But, there were
revealed a lot on today's podcast.
Yeah, but there were many interested parties. Let's be honest, Matthew.
Maybe that's why Matthew likes the movie so much. He sees himself.
Yeah, he sees himself in Noah, because I was telling Cash yesterday about I had the classic like sitcom scenario of like two parties on the other sides of town, And then I said there was a third party going on that night that only you were invited to because all the girls thought you were a very good looking guy, and they probably didn't want me around cramping your style and their style, so they brought you there to just look at how good looking you are.
Actually, probably kind of deep question, I think.
Go for it, man. Go for
So,
it.
what do you guys think about, like, especially these Netflix movies and rom-coms on, like, romanticizing teenage life?
It's a good question. Callum,
Yeah.
do you want to take that off? Take on that one.
Well, I mean, obviously they kind of dramatize like the fights that people have, because they're like, I don't think a fight with a friendship group, it's either like something petty or it's something that's a friendship ruiner. So like I feel like that this fight should have logically ended this friendship, but instead like it seems to strengthen it, which honestly would not happen in real life. So yeah, it simultaneously dramatizes and glamorizes, because it's taking this fight out of proportion, because it shouldn't have been a big fight. It should have been like over pretty quickly, or it should have ended the friendship, which also would have happened quickly. Like you don't just like not talk to your mate for like 6 weeks or whatever and then make up. Like it's either like it's over quickly or the friendship's over, basically.
That's actually one thing I was wondering about. Sorry, I swear they fought and then made up a day later.
It seemed like that, but they said like, oh, Noah hasn't spoken to Noah hasn't been in school for weeks, and and they say Lee hasn't spoken to me in weeks. But also, the first scene of the film takes place in the first day of the year, and then obviously by the end of the film, Noah's heading to Harvard, so it must be like July, or no, it must be like the way their summer starts in June, so it must be like May. So this film took place over like 8 months, but like their relationship starts at the start of the year, then they don't speak for a few weeks, then they've made up. So it should be like November or something at the latest.
I think you found a major plot hole.
Yeah, it's May.
It's very unclear about the time frame, I think.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, but
because it just says like a few weeks, like whatever,
Yeah, no, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, buddy, to be honest with you, with the glamorizing there of the teen romance. I do think that's definitely a stereotype in a lot of these teen romance movies that we see, and even in Riverdale, I think. And I don't want to get too much into Riverdale because I'm sure we'll cover it in more detail on another podcast or mini review or whatever. But I think that those sort of shows, not that kind of genre, does definitely have a stereotype, like you said perfectly, Cash. And like it definitely does like romanticize it, and it definitely sort of presents like teen emotions as very simple. It's a very like fixable issue, when it's just not the case at all. And I think it's a really important point that you brought up, Cash. So kudos to you, man. That's a great point.
Thank you,
I mean, I think it portrays sexism well. Like it's obviously being harmful, but then they just pass it away as like sexual like playfulness instead of like the assault that it actually is. Noah says I'm a sexist, and then says something sexist, and then and then Elle's like, oh, they do it as like as though like being like a chauvinist is like a quirk, like they seem to laugh it off every time like Noah's like, oh yeah, when did you get your boobs? Like you're like a hot piece of ass, of course people are gonna slap you on the butt. Like he's just a constant piece of shit, and then she seems to find that so endearing when anyone rational would call the police.
Oh yeah. I'm honestly just surprised movies like this kind of still survive. Like, what is this like 2 years ago? Is this like 2 years ago?
Yeah, this was I think it was last year actually, maybe.
Okay, but yeah, like how is this not being ripped apart by like media, especially when you hear all these issues, especially right now, like racial issues, people are being cancelled for things that have happened a decade ago that aren't even that maybe like offensive. I'm surprised stuff like this is still able to like exist, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. To circle back, I have been quite critical of Noah, in saying that he is obviously a sexist, but that's not the issue that Elle has with him. So like we can sort of step past that, because he is obviously a sexist, but she loves him anyway. So stepping aside from that, I think that if she criticized him for being sexist, that would be perfectly justified. But also Lee criticizes him for things that he hasn't even done. Like it shows that like Noah gave Lee like one wedgie, and now like Lee jumps to the conclusion that Noah is a domestic abuser. Like he's like, you've given me one wedgie. Oh my god, you hit Elle. And I'm like, where has this assumption come from? Like, they seem to have a fairly normal like brother relationship, at least, you know, at that age. Like, I think it probably becomes more healthy when you're, you know, when you don't have to share the same living space. Like, I think the relationship probably becomes a bit healthier. But, you know, he seems to have done nothing like world ending to Lee that would, you know, give him the rational thinking that he's like punched his best friend.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I also thought it was going to go more in the like, you know, the way his whole like I'm angry at you it was for the like violence aspect. I thought it was going to be he would be angry at Flynn for, you know, being in his shadow for like years. I thought it was going to
Yeah.
go that more like kind of cliche.
That would make more sense, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the violence thing, like obviously he has been fighting loads of people, but those are like boys, so it's kind of different.
Yeah.
But
'Cause,
I
I mean,
definitely thought it was different.
yeah, like he obviously does live in Noah's shadow, and he complains about it frequently, but he never like addresses it like with Noah. Like, they never sit down and have a healthy conversation about jealousy. Like, he just
Mm.
always voices that opinion to Elle. But I mean, I sort of wanted to ask you, Cash, because you know you have like a successful older sibling, and
Yeah.
you know I'm very used to be like my brother is in many ways a genius. So I've lived in his shadow for many years. But like, how is that their fault? Like, how can you have such an unhealthy relationship out of your jealousy and not realize that you're the problem? Like, how
Yeah.
like, you know, like he says that, you know, one of the main rules for their friendship is that, you know, they're always like championing each other's successes, but he can't do that for his own brother.
Yeah, definitely. I think it is just one of those kind of they're trying to make one of those stereotypical things. You know, Ethan, like I think like what the third line of the movie is, he's a high school legend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
I think it is just supposed to be super corny and like almost not even make sense at some point.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
it doesn't make sense.
yeah, well, like if you're doing a sibling relationship, right? You know, you should be friends that like respect and enjoy each other's company. And
Mm.
you know, I just feel like that's not here, and they never resolved their relationship. You know, I feel like they needed to have like a sit down, healthy conversation about the fact that Lee is insane.
Actually, that's really true because he forgives Elle, obviously, but he never like
Yeah,
says
and then
to
Elle and Noah get back together, but they never have a conversation about the fact that, you know, the Lee is needlessly jealous.
yeah. That's really true.
Yeah. You know,
I just realized that like are Lee and Elle named that because those names are exceptionally similar and they were like born on the same day.
yeah, it's actually probably actually, yeah. It's a good
Yeah,
point.
they were only able to use the same letters from each
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
The other name. Like
Yeah.
that's like the intellect of like the script writers.
They were like we can't get actors that seem like friends. We'll make their names similar.
I
I'm
also
actually
love
Go ahead,
how
Ken.
different the genes are. Sorry, like
You're okay.
Noah's like 6'5" or something, and then like the other guy's like tiny. It's
Yeah,
just like
and like weirdly, like the guy playing Lee is 1 year older than the guy playing Noah.
Oh really?
oh really?
Cool.
Yeah.
Like it's weird because I'm baffled this film got a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't need it. Like, who after watching that film went like, but what happens to him when he gets to Harvard?
Yeah.
You know, and like, have either of you watched the trailer for the sequel?
Yeah.
No.
No,
It's
yeah.
basically
So
the same film but with a different
it's just the same film, but now they've introduced like a romantic rival for Noah. But like it's completely ridiculous. Like, you know, Elle's just completely jealous of Noah like hanging out with other women, and she's like, I'm literally gonna go and like have a second romance. Like, she basically, you know, it seems like that she's gonna get like a second boyfriend while he's literally just hanging out with women, which like healthy heterosexual men do.
At least sounds a little bit more interesting than this will do. You know what I mean? Like that sounds like
Yeah,
there's a bit of
there's like,
spice.
yeah, there's a bit of conflict and an intrigue that's
Yeah.
kind of missing here.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely, man.
But I think one thing I noticed again, Riverdale, but do you think Noah literally just looks like Archie?
Yeah,
He's just-
exactly. There
yeah.
there was a point like I think like head on he doesn't, but like from the profile it is just him. And it
Yeah.
must just must be because like the Aussies and the Kiwis just look similar.
Maybe, and like I think honestly that's just why it got a sequel. Like realistically.
Just because he's good looking.
guy.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
genuinely. I mean, I know for a fact that Riverdale, like the numbers go up whenever like
Archie's
Archie's in
shirtless.
an
Archie takes his
episode.
top off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Netflix YouTube channel actually has a compilation of Archie being shirtless.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Have you watched that
I've
numerous
watched it.
times?
I'll be honest, I've watched it numerous times.
I was gonna say like Matthew's vastly contributed to the view count.
Yeah.
I
He's
have.
all 100,000 likes.
But yeah, no, he does look a lot like Archie, and this film sort of it does play to the cliche of like stereotypes of like we see the stereotypical jocks with abs, we see the stereotypical
Yeah.
like girl OMG girl group, we see the typical like nerd who's got glasses, and I think that's really getting outdated. It's wearing thin. I think that stereotype, and I think that's why this film needs like you said, Cash. It's amazing how this film even got greenlit to go ahead because it's so cliche, it's so stereotypical, and it's nothing special. Particularly, I know it was based on a book,
Yeah.
so maybe that's a bit of originality. But
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah, you know what I mean, man. It's yeah.
Yeah, sort of going off what you said about like the stereotypical looks of characters. Do you find in films they sort of like they try to match the personality to the appearance? They're like, oh, if someone looks nerdy, then they have
great
no
point.
personality. Like, well, and by look nerdy, I mean has glasses. They're like, if this person has glasses, like they like all they talk about is science fiction, and there's nothing interesting about them. And then there's always like, oh, and this really hot dude, he seems dumb, but he has a secret personality. He has like he's secretly intelligent or something. There's always they never give the people that are stereotypically nerdy looking, and by that I mean look like me, they never have a personality, when in reality like those are the most interesting people you find usually.
Sorry,
like
Callum, I just wanted to say,
yeah
you said has glasses and wearing like science fiction, and you're wearing a Star Wars t-shirt.
yeah no but I mean I don't think that defines my personality, like
Yeah, 100%
like
not.
it's but it seems like in every single scene, like someone's like pushing up their glasses and saying like, oh, beautiful woman who is top of the social chain, like would you like to come to a science exhibit with me, like would you like to visit the museum?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, like why would you ever like someone who has like no personality and will never like you, and like even if you're like shooting your shot, like why would you go with something that like they'll hate?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
sort of like the Peter Parker complex, like we've discussed before, isn't it? Like it like we sort of mentioned, guys, it is definitely wearing thin in the industry. I think, especially in these teen romance films, which are very, I would say, like, I certainly haven't seen this film, but I would say maybe to what people regard like the pinnacle of teen romance would be like 10 Things I Hate About You. I would say that's pretty well
Sure.
regarded. So
yeah, that's definitely a popular teen one. Yeah.
Since then, like I know we've had, like you said, perfectly, buddy. Netflix has had some success with like To All the Boys I've Loved Before and stuff like that, and Always Be My Maybe. You've hinted at them and stuff, and it's just it's sort of a genre that I think won't be around for much longer. And I'm not entirely disappointed about that, to be honest.
Yeah. Just to what was that, Cash?
Oh, no, nothing. Go ahead.
Okay, to go back to the film, there's one moment in the film where Elle mistakenly thinks that she's the one that needs to apologize to Lee when he's the one being a fucking psycho. Let's be honest. And she's in the car and she says in voiceover, and that's when it hit me, and I just in my mind went, is it a car? And,
you were like,
please.
please.
I was like, are they finally going to make this interesting?
Yeah, like the film is in many ways bland, isn't it? It brings nothing new to the table, and like it sort of I was going to sort of leave this comment to when we do ratings, but it sort of feels like a group of aliens acting how they think humans act.
Yeah, I was like, one thing I don't know, like this is a bit obviously very nitpicky, but some of it literally seemed improv at how bad it was. Like the way some movies will do scenes of improv, but it sounds like it seems like they are really bad improv actors and they made them do improv. It's so awkward and like clunky.
I've seen interviews of these guys, and they seem like lovely people. Don't get me wrong, they seem like really like smart, like switched on, like young people. But in this film, like it's not so often that I would say like it's obvious that person is acting. But in this film, it's very blatantly obvious, in a similar sense to how Callum, like me and you have spoke about Streetcar Named Desire and how we sort of have prior knowledge of that. But in this film, it's really different. Like I think the script is really, really shit.
Even like, did you watch like the end credit scenes?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Even when they were being themselves, it was still somehow bad. Like, how do you
Yeah,
mess being
because like
yourself up?
Matthew, like, did you watch the credits?
I did not watch the credits.
Because it was like bloopers intercut with like
Yeah,
like snippets of deleted scenes,
Mhm.
and like some of the deleted scenes were pretty good to be fair. But yeah, when they were just being themselves, it was painfully awkward. And admittedly, teenagers for the most part are very awkward. You're awkward in almost every social scenario unless you're just born with good luck. Sorry, like born with good looks, or you're inherently confident. For me, like it's been a struggle to get out of my comfort zone and not be awkward. But I think if you're awkward, like you gravitate towards other awkward people. But there's some like really cool people, and then it's like starkly juxtaposed with like painful awkwardness that lies like like
Mhm.
beyond even like a human teenage level.
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
no,
that's a great point, buddy. It really is. You've smashed it there again, buddy. And yeah, like it's just something about this. I don't want to be too critical, but it's not the worst film I've ever seen. But it's just
No,
it's
obviously not. That
yeah.
goes to Gone with the Wind.
Well, yeah, it might as well be, to be honest, man. But it's just it's a very forgettable film. It's a very bland film. Do
yeah.
you know what I
It's
mean? Like
almost hard to review it because
that's
there's nothing in
exactly,
it.
buddy. Exactly,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Like all the points I have, like literally one of the points I have is ah ha 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 the motorbike part.
No, yeah, which motorbike part do you mean? Because my final point's about the motorbike.
Oh, I think it was the one where it was like in the rain and he like acted like they were like,
Oh
like
no, it's
on
too
some like Fast and
dangerous.
Furious.
It's too
Yeah,
dangerous
yeah,
with the
exactly.
motorbike. No, just
No,
Act like
I
they're trying
know.
to drive in like oil or something. Nah,
yeah.
it's just
Yeah,
rain.
and then there's sort of just like this old creepy gardener who just comes up and like sort of like nods his head at this like underage sex. He's just like cool. He's just like sick. I mean, like how old is Elle? Is she like 16 or 17? Like, is this legal? Like,
The
or
actress was 18, I think, at the time. So
yeah, because
Whoa.
no, obviously in real life, but I
yeah,
mean in
yeah,
the
yeah. No,
context
I
of the
know what you
film.
mean. Yeah.
I mean, she said she was going into 11th grade, which I think is year 11, which I think is year 13. So I think that there's only a year difference. So that's fine.
Yeah, I actually didn't pick up that Noah was 1 year older than was 1 year above L until he said he was going to Harvard. Like that completely just passed me by because he's at the same prom, strangely.
Oh well, I mean,
Yeah.
people at formals, go with people like in
I
the younger
suppose so.
years.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
like, but I was thinking like this dude looks so much older than Joey King. Like it seemed like like the has been weirdos in the upper years of school who like go to the younger years, like school formal like to appear like so that they
Oh
know
yeah.
they're the coolest one there. Like you like we have ones for like fifth year, but I'm sure like some schools do like fourth year and stuff, and like it'd be like an upper sixth, like it looks like an upper sixth going to like a fourth year
It kind
formal and just being like, "Hello, everybody, it's me," like, and just being like, "Who wants to dance?"
of you kind of reminded me of, not to go back to the Raimi films, but like all the clearly like late 20-year-old men and women acting as like teenagers.
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, there's some people that look passable, but like. The kid who plays Noah it's not working for him. I say the kid, he's 5 years older than me and Matthew. But like the guy he's trying to play our age, so we can judge with scrutiny.
Yeah. To be
Mm.
fair, like as much as he looks definitely older, I would absolutely love to look like him. He is like
Yeah.
he's jacked, isn't he? He's big. He's
Well, I
Yeah,
didn't like his haircut to be honest, but
yeah. No, it looks properly shit.
it was
Like
very like
yeah,
2007. I
it's
swear.
very like Justin Bieber.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
know mine's bad. Like mine's bad, but
Jared
like
Leto in like 7 seconds to Mars, or like 30 seconds to Mars.
And
uh,
like I also find it so dumb how like the whole second half of the movie was them trying to hide their secret relationship,
yeah.
and they were so bad at doing it. Like you'd
There's so
think if
many
that was
opportunities to
your
tell. Yeah.
if that was your main focus, you'd be just a wee bit better than like
Yeah, I mean,
you
like
know.
than just like publicly having your face just like out whilst on a motorbike, or like going to the cinema. Like if you're gonna go and do like your weird like obscure like sexy dates by the Hollywood sign, like do that, sure. But well, I suppose like that's a public interest point. So like yeah, they are phenomenal. Fuck my life, phenomenally shit at it.
You know what it
No, but
is?
even like within the houses, Like I thought that bit was so.
Oh man,
dumb.
to be fair, one moment in the film I did that it was quite funny, and I don't think it was intentional. Is like Lee's reaction to like Elle and Noah kissing. He just walks into the room and is just like, "No way, what?" And he's just like, he's completely bland. Like it's pretty funny, but I don't know if it's intentional.
Actually,
No, but also,
sorry.
oh, go ahead, Kash.
The one scene I actually laughed with was whenever the wee brother comes in, jumps on the bed, dabs, and then rips a stinky one on the bed.
Oh yeah, Matt, you didn't see that. That was in the credits.
Was it?
Yeah, it was one of the scenes. But like, I love how the fact that this is a 12, right? Isn't it? Because it's very PG. Like it's like one of the most like. Is it a 15? I don't know. Because like usually with a 12 you get like one or two F words, and like it seems like a very wholesome film, and then they just like barrel you with the fuck like 3 times in a period of like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And it took me by surprise, because like it seemed that they were trying to make this film like as wholesome as possible.
Yeah, like
yeah.
I actually picked up on that as well, because you see like you said, the film like goes for an hour and 20 minutes without any F bombs or anything like that, and then like you said perfectly, buddy, it just like barrels you with like loads in a row. I'm trying to find a rating here. I think it is
It must be a 12, right?
It must be a
12.
Like,
because then you would think they would like commit to the swearing. Because I mean, I've never. It just seems that every high school film has like, you know, every high school student saying like gosh darn, or like, you know, damn it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I am using every single terrible swear word there is every single day. You know, it's just never accurate to the high school experience, because, you know, unless you're, you know, a committed Christian, like, you know, it's only really, you know, that type of person that I know to not swear ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it kind of reminds me of like a Fast and Furious vibe, how like you know the way it's like a Fast and Furious movies, or I think they're like a 12, but then they have like strippers in it at some bit, and you're just like,
yeah, like they're
Daddy's
trying to be they're trying to be family friendly, and they're like, oh, we couldn't possibly say fuck, but then they're like making it rain.
yeah. To be fair, Hobbs and Shaw, I had a great time with that one, surprisingly.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of the Fast and Furious films, and I don't think, Matthew, you haven't seen any others aside from Hobbs and Shaw, right?
Just 6 as well, but yeah.
6, yeah.
Okay.
Like it's so bizarre. Like I sometimes do, you know, commit to like watching a film that's like really late in the franchise. Like when I went, like, you know, I saw obviously like The Force Awakens before I'd seen any other Star Wars film, and I saw like Mission Impossible 6, and I haven't seen any of the other ones.
Okay, yeah.
I think that was your first comment on our channel, Kash, review the Fast and Furious films.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Still haven't got around to it, but we'll get
there. No, but Kash, like, you
also,
know,
I haven't even watched all of them myself. So.
Yeah, there's been some obviously funny comments from you, and you know, there's been like this description is godly, and the Callum is sexier than Matthew, but like bizarrely, my favorite one is on Dora and the Lost City of Gold, where you're just like, surely not.
Yeah.
Like, it's the simplicity of just your disappointment in us.
I'm also surprised
that's why we love him.
like, you reviewed like Scooby-Doo or something.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you know, we try to hit all demographics, even though our content is specifically made to not be tolerable for children.
Like, one of my favorite comments on the channel is actually Callum's reply to a guy called Buff Shaggy. Like this guy was just like, glad you mentioned Buff Shaggy, and then Callum replied, you clearly have a dedication to your craft or something.
Yeah. I couldn't remember what I said to him, but yeah, I mean, literally, like, have you seen this guy's channel? Like, his channel is called Buff Shaggy, and like, you know, he has like 60 videos, and they're all like a recut version of the clip from like Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, where Shaggy like drinks the potion and becomes Shag. So it's like you know, the scene where it's just Buff Shaggy, like the scene you know, it's like he is Shaggy but he's also Scooby-Doo, or like, you know, like it's always something really dumb, but he is so committed to it.
I just can't imagine there's like real human beings in the world who are like, I need a YouTube name, Buff Shaggy, and then spend like hours a day like editing these week clips of Shaggy and posting them.
I mean, you know, it's accurate to the content. He's found his niche. You know, like we you know, put out content that, you know, like, you know, we talk about films that like you know, tens of thousands of people talk about. You know, no one else is doing buff Shaggy content. Like, he has found his demographic.
Yeah,
Exactly.
He's gonna start a buff Shaggy monopoly. It's just him.
I mean, like, there has been like sort of you know, an awakening to that franchise, you know, where people sort of like, because like, you know, it was basically like a teen sex comedy that was like cut into a family friendly film, because you know, it was like devised by James Gunn. So like, you know, you know, like from Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's kind of like a sex comedy that was just cut down into a family friendly film.
Yeah,
So like,
Jacob was telling me there's like some really bad scenes cut out.
Yeah, like
scenes.
well, there's like a really funny scene that was cut where like apparently it was quite clear that Velma was a lesbian in the original cut. So like she's like on a piano, like she's like splayed across a piano, and she's like serenading Daphne because she's in love with her. And you know, my friend showed me that on TikTok. Obviously I don't go on TikTok because I'm above that morally. You know, so she showed me that. So people have sort of had this awakening to the film where they sort of respect it for like what it was intended to be before like the studios messed with it.
Yeah, and then I don't know, like obviously if you knew, but like I think was it last year there was like the Shaggy memes all over like Instagram and stuff.
Like Shaggy with like his like strength points and how he'll destroy you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cash, like I'm aware of time and that, you know, you need to head on soon. So I mean, we can talk about some more abnormal behavior in the film, which is, I mean, you just do give your like girlfriend of a few months your motorcycle, don't you?
That's always my go-to.
Yeah, it's just a normal reaction. I mean, you know, like even when, you know, I've had like a really tumultuous, unreliable relationship, you know, I go straight to the motorcycle.
And they obviously just learn it in like 2 months also.
Yeah, I mean, like he also does literally like a standing ovation for her learning how to start the motorcycle, and it's literally like pushing a pedal down with your foot. And I was like,
it's really not
masterful, you know.
I still like, I just can't get over the fact that they were celebrating when people were kissing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, but it was only like, oh well, they're both attractive, so that makes it okay to just be like creepy voyeurs, like, you know, they may as well have like had their binoculars.
They were like, yes, finally,
like it's not
and Al.
Yeah, like it's not that often I would consider a scene that would be uncomfortable for the actors to film. I definitely imagine the actors who were kissing in that scene must have found it very uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, like Jacob Elordi and Joey King did date, so like I think they dated after the film, but like I'm sure they didn't mind while they were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, but
so. I actually, the one moment of the film I really did like, and this is genuinely serious, the only moment of the film I liked was when people, like all the girls are like, oh, why would I want to kiss that dork? You know, I just talked to him so I get a kiss from Noah. And then like the one decent girl actually wants to kiss Lee is Rachel, and Rachel was a really sweet character. I thought she was a brilliant addition. I thought that romance was really sweet.
Yeah.
It's a pity that she's barely in it, and also he doesn't.
And then she goes,
I mean,
do you like what I see? Do you like what you see?
But I mean, like Lee and Noah, like obviously Lee isn't as tall as Noah, he isn't as buff as Noah, but they've actually done a pretty exceptional job. And it's probably just the haircuts, let's be honest. But like they do look like brothers to me, but it is probably just the haircuts. But I mean, how are you looking at Noah and going, what a god, you know, he's like chiseled from marble, and then you're looking at Lee and going like, what a dumb dork. Like, you know, like they're both attractive. I think they're equally as attractive, like facially.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, definitely.
Absolutely.
And I prefer whatever the smaller one's name is, his haircut is definitely better than the bigger guy.
Yeah. I mean, because he like his face suits that kind of trim, but like Noah not so much.
Definitely.
Did you guys have anything else to say on the film?
Nothing from me.
Anything from you, Kash?
I think I just want to emphasize how much I love the yearbook guy. Really do love him.
He's just like your king for the film.
Yeah. It was like my only takeaway was like how funny the yearbook guy was, and yeah. But the only other thing was, that he like. Oh, do you want me to go? The inner monologue was super just cheesy and like
incredibly.
Also.
Yeah, I mean, we found that with a lot of like Disney films, because I mean, you know, people will just be doing like completely normal things, and they feel the need, because it's a kids film, to like
explicitly reference every single movement by every character. Like we were watching an old ass film called like which one was it that had like you know like oh, it was Fun and Fancy Free, was it? The one with like Bongo the bear.
Fun and Fancy Free, yeah.
Yeah, like there was a scene like in this segment of this film where like a bear is like climbing like to the top of like a circus tent, and they're like, and now he climbs to the top of the circus tent, and I was like, wow, like so necessary, guys. Good for you.
I do think there is definitely movies where narration can enhance it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But that in this movie, I have to agree with you, Kash. It's a fantastic point, dude. It does definitely feel cringy and also out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, I guess it helps for like establishing the rules of the friendship, because like if you sort of don't have that, you know, you're kind of like, well, what the fuck is any of this motivation that like stops them from being in a relationship? But I mean, like the odd interjection of like just, you know, doing that sense of voiceover, then it would be like similar to Zombieland, which obviously no one ever has an issue with the voiceover in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Any more remarks from you, buddy?
There's nothing more from me. So, Kash, did you have anything final?
No, nothing.
So, Kash, would you like to give us your first rating of a film on this channel?
Is it? I assume it's out of 10, right?
It is out of 10, yes. But if we have you on next week, our famous you know, world-renowned rating system is massive hit or piece of shit.
Oh, well, I think it's a solid 4 out of 10.
Solid. I respect it. That. I think, Kash, you made some fantastic points today, buddy, and you're definitely a welcome addition to the podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Callum, so, Matthew, I'd love to hear.
Oh.
Okay, I'll go. I'll go. You know, obviously, yeah, the editing is dreadful. You know, obviously, the script does not portray true human or teenage life. You know, it is complete fiction. You know, there's not like a shred of reality in this film. And the voiceover is needless for the most part. But you know, I sort of tried to, you know, balance the quality of the film with my enjoyment of the film, and I would be lying if I said I didn't greatly enjoy this film. So like for enjoyment, it'd be a 10 out of 10 quality, like as Kash said, probably a 4. So I'm gonna balance it out at an even like 7.5 for this film.
Fair enough, man. I respect that, and you made some fantastic points in there as well, dude. Yeah, for me, I think, like you said, definitely enjoyment. You know, I'd also be lying if I said I didn't enjoy it. It's one of those films in a similar sense to, you know, Spider-Man 3. You know, you appreciate it's not very well made, but you still enjoy it to make fun of it as well. So for me, I would say enjoyment, yeah, a 10. Quality, I would say a 2. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this. When you compare it to other Netflix rom-coms, I think it misses the mark. So it probably balances out a bit. I would say a 4 out of 10 for me. Yeah, it's not one of my favorites.
It balances out at a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
But yeah, I suppose did you want to wrap up the episode then, man? Yeah.
Yeah, to do just you know, a quick future episode chat. We'll of course well, I say of course, hopefully, so we'll be having Kash on next week to discuss the Kissing Booth 2 if he can endure it.
Yeah.
Kash? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I would be interested unless the movie like knocks me out.
So coming up will be next, you know, for episode 49 of the podcast, we'll be talking about Disney episodes, Disney part 5 of 15, where we'll be talking about the Aristocats, The Sword and the Stone, 101 Dalmatians. Do you remember the other one?
Jungle Book.
And the Jungle Book. That will be episode 49, because I absolutely flatly refuse to let this episode be a podcast. I mean, I am 100% certain it will be around the like hour 45 to 2 hour mark. I'm still saying not a podcast. Like, how is it ever possible that like we talk about literally like the absolute pinnacle of American cinema, you know, for the most part, for like 3.5 hours, and it takes an hour and a half to talk about the fucking Kissing Booth.
Yeah, I've actually really enjoyed this one. This has been one of the funnier ones I think we've recorded. And Kash, as we've said, you know, a very welcome addition to the podcast.
Thank you. No, it's actually been such a crack doing this.
Oh, thanks, man. You're welcome on anytime, and hopefully come on next week for Kissing Booth 2.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, but also not hopefully.
Like, even if no one listens to this, we've had a great time.
Yeah,
absolutely,
no, exactly.
Absolutely, and it'll be our face reveal and our first guest in the same video, man.
Yeah, I mean, the face reveal may be enough to sway a bit of a viewership.
Oh, you hope so, especially
Yeah.
from the female department.
Oh yeah. I mean, they'll be drawn in by Cash's mustache and Matthew's hair. And then thankfully, like, there's enough light in my shot that you can't really see my face, so we'll just pretend that I'm better looking than I am.
Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure recording with you guys today. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, Callum, for introducing us to this film. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, please, if you're still watching at this point, hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And email us at moviematespodcast@gmail.com. What are we gonna say there, buddy?
We'll be linking Cash's sick gaming channel down
No,
below.
please don't. I keep begging you to not do that.
If you want to subscribe, go over to that.
No.
But otherwise, thank you very much, Cash. Be sure to send your positive comments to Cash in the comment section down below.
I'm gonna
Cash will
comment
write,
about
Cash will write
myself.
one to himself. Yeah, exactly. I knew it was coming. You'll just be like, sick mustache, bro. And then I'll respond. You need some beard oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should get a sponsorship from beard oil.
Yeah, I mean, I use brisk citrus and citrus every day. You know.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no, Callum, hit up the Dollar Shave Club. They definitely.
Dollar Shave Club.
Oh,
Yeah.
but I don't want to shave. You know, because I mean,
Okay.
you know, I was gonna say I've gotten more female attention, but that's not true just because of lockdown. I wish that we could be hitting the clubs right now looking for some female attention. I mean, Cash is the king of getting in on a fake ID because me and Matthew are actually 18, but Cash has the dodgiest ID I've ever seen, but it's just his immense confidence that gets him in.
Brilliant.
I think it's more of a luck thing, to be honest. But yeah.
I mean, yeah, but you said that they looked at it with a flashlight, and literally it said 2003, and you had the wonkiest fucking one pasted over it that I've ever seen in my life. Like it looked like trash, mate. I'll be honest.
Oh no, yeah, no, I agree. I was prepared to leave that day. Like fully
Yeah, no,
prepared to
you texted me like, bro, I'm not coming to your birthday, and I was like, just try, and then you like, I think that's the most surprised you've ever been.
Yeah, no, genuinely.
But yeah,
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure, guys, and thank you very much for everyone who's listened to this episode or video. Thank you very much, guys. We really appreciate it. Everyone, take care and bye bye.
Bye bye.